We have now concluded week 2 of the NFL season, so it's time to continue our Steal a Player series, where every single team that won gets to take any player they want from the team they beat. Let's start with the Eagles-Vikings. Philly won 34-28. Now in week 1, Minnesota lost Jefferson to the Buccaneers. They got Evans back in return. That leads me into the only rule of the video. When a team steals a player from their opponent, they have to trade back a starter at that position. So keep that in mind. So Philly's actually going to look elsewhere and continue upgrading the position they upgraded after week 1. Kyle Duggar, who they took from New England, is headed to Minnesota. Harrison Smith is now in Philadelphia. How many of you guys expected the Falcons to be 2-0? They won a thriller against the Packers 25-24. Last week they took Brian Burns from Carolina. Now most teams would take Jair Alexander, but ATL already has an elite cornerback one in AJ Terrell. So instead they're going to upgrade their offensive line and grab David Bakhtiari. In return, the Packers get Jake Matthews. Buffalo got their first win of the season against the Raiders 38-10. Now they did lose Josh Allen in week 1. Zach Wilson is their starting quarterback, and while Jimmy G would be an upgrade, there's other players on the Raiders that they could take. Now you already have Stephon Diggs, so if you got Devontae, you would have to trade Diggs away. Jacobs would be a nice upgrade at running back, plus 15 overalls, and you get abilities. But right now, Buffalo's starting a 69 overall at left outside linebacker, so it's a no-brainer for them to go ahead and get Max Crosby. Huge upgrade on the front 7 for Buffalo. The Ravens are now 2-0 in the season. They beat the 0-2 Bengals 27-24. Speaking of the Bengals, they already lost Burrow to the Browns after week 1. Not that the Ravens would take him anyways. I mean, Lamar is more than capable. And while Odell looks like he still has something left in the tank, the Ravens quietly have some nice depth at receiver, especially with the emergence of Zay Flowers. So why not upgrade your wide receiver one? Get yourself a guy like Jamar Chase for Lamar Jackson to throw to. In what I consider the game of the week, Seattle won a thriller against Detroit 37-31 in overtime. If I could trade this Tyler Lockett away for one that has abilities, I would. I mean, 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Probably gonna get a 6th this year, and for some reason, he's still only star dev. I mean, make it make sense, Madden. But anyways, Detroit does have a guy named Patrick Mahomes, who they stole from Kansas City after week 1. And while Geno has been playing really well since the start of last season, you have to go ahead and upgrade and get the best quarterback in the league. We had another overtime game. The Titans got their first win of the season against the Chargers 27-24. Now Los Angeles already lost Derwin after week 1. So if Tennessee wants to steal someone on defense, they're probably going to go for Joey Bosa. But after that 3-interception game in week 1, Tannehill has proven to be a little inconsistent. He's also 35. Why not give Hopkins a quarterback that is young and very talented? Tennessee is going to steal Justin Herbert from the Chargers, and they have a new QB1. The Buccaneers are undefeated, people. This time they beat the Bears 27-17. Now they already have Justin Jefferson at wide receiver. The best players on the Bears are on defense, but the Bucs are already pretty stacked at those positions. So instead, Tampa Bay is going to make the boring yet very smart choice of upgrading their interior offensive line, getting a guy like Tevin Jenkins, only 25, is a 78, and their O-line gets better. Before we continue, we got a few super chats. At Ducky Pruds 814 says, can you do a team of the best offensive players and defensive players? Love the video, CK. This isn't my idea, someone said in the comments, so I'm saying you're for them. I'm guessing it is what he meant. Appreciate the donation, man. Cool idea, you know what I'm saying? I think that team would probably go undefeated. And then at Demonic Spider 4384 says, hey CK, your boy Frankie again. I got multiple channels, LOL. Video idea, can a 99 club plus a team of free agents and the recently retired players win a Super Bowl? See if you can get Brady one more ring on the bench. LOL. That's a fun one, man. I appreciate the donations and the ideas. Now, Kansas City got Travis Kelce back, and they got back to their winning ways. 17-9 against the Jaguars. Now, they already lost Mahomes, obviously, but Goff is a solid QB1. Is it really worth it to upgrade 2 overalls for Trevor Lawrence? I'm not sure. What I do know is that they can use some much needed help at wide receiver because Tony is their wide receiver 1. So it was a toss up between Ridley and Christian Kirk. They're taking Calvin because the number 0 is just really cool, man. Now Indianapolis got their first win of the season against the Texans 31-20, but at what cost? Anthony Richardson left with a concussion. Hopefully he comes back soon. This was probably probably the easiest one of the video. Indy starting a 74 overall left tackle. The Texans have a 95 overall left tackle. So now Laramie Tunsil's headed to the Colts. The Niners continue winning. They're up to 2-0 after beating the Rams 30-23. They stole TJ Watt in week 1. And while most teams would take Aaron Donald, the fact of the matter is that he plays at right end. So the Niners would have to trade away Nicky Bosa to go ahead and get him, which they're not gonna do. And most teams would take Cooper Kupp as well, but the Niners already have Debo. But San Fran could use an upgrade at right tackle. They're starting a 64 overall. So why not steal an 83 overall Rob Havenstein and make their offensive line even stronger? The Giants had the comeback of the season so far. They were down 21 against the Cardinals. They came back and got the W 31-28. But again, at what cost? Saquon might be missing some time. Now they lost Dexter Lawrence to Dallas in week 1. And the Cardinals already lost Budda Baker. So it's kind of slim pickings. Now according to ESPN's depth chart, the Giants are actually starting Marcus McKethan, which means they get a nice upgrade with Will Hernandez. And they boost their O-line and help out Saquon in that run game. Cowboys with another W, this time 30-10 against the Jets. They're the ones that stole Dexter Lawrence from the Giants in week 1. And if you take a look at their depth chart on ESPN, Damone Clark and Marquise Bell are their only MLBs. Clark is a 73 overall with 90 speed, which is not bad. And Josh Allen would be a slight upgrade from Dak, but that would be more of a luxury pick than a necessity. To get Sauce Gardner, you have to trade away Stephon Gilmore. And to get Quinnen, you would have to trade away Dexter Lawrence. To get Dalvin, you have to trade away Tony Pollard. And to get Garrett Wilson, you'd have to trade away CeeDee Lamb. So the move that made the most sense for Dallas was to upgrade 12 overalls at the MLB position, get CJ Mosley, and improve their already elite defense. Who would have thought the Commanders would be 2-0? 35-33, they win a thriller against the 0-2 Broncos, who have already lost Patrick Surtain II to the Raiders, and they're about to lose Justin Simmons. Washington stole Budda Baker, and now they're gonna have two 90+ overall safeties. Forrest is solid, but you have to upgrade 10 overalls when you get the opportunity. Look out for the Commanders. The Dolphins got their second win of the season. They stay undefeated, 24-17 over the 0-2 Patriots. Now Miami already stole Derwin James from the Chargers after week 1, and while he had himself a great game in week 2, Bradley Chubb is still gonna be on the move because you can't pass up a guy like 89 overall Matthew Judon. Dolphins defense gets better. Now on to the Monday night games. We had the Saints get the W over the Panthers 20-17. They're undefeated and they're looking pretty good after stealing Derrick Henry from Tennessee in week 1. They're gonna look to the defensive side of the football, and they're not taking Shaq Thompson because they'll have to trade away Demario Davis. So instead they're gonna upgrade their right end position and get a young stud like Derrick Brown to put on the other side of Cameron Jordan. And then finally, prayers go out to Nick Chubb, one of the worst injuries I've seen in a while, and it happens to such a good player, a good person. Not to mention his team ended up losing 22-26. Steelers grabbed their first W of the season. And while most teams would grab Myles Garrett, Pittsburgh already has a 93 overall right end in Cameron Hayward. Not to mention it just wouldn't feel right to take Nick Chubb. I think he's going to be out for the season, so we're going to go ahead and move him to punter and make sure nobody else can use him for the rest of the season. This way his last moments remain as a Brown. So looking at the other options for Pittsburgh to steal, it's a no-brainer. Their offense wasn't looking too hot. Pickett has had some nice connections with guys like Pickens, but you gotta get Joe Burr when you get the opportunity. Now I've gone ahead and force-winned all the teams that won in real life in both week 1 and in week 2. So we're going to be headed into week 3 in this simulation. Also, we're up to 134 people downloading Royal Match using my link. I greatly appreciate all of you. We are 66 away from getting to our goal of 200 people. You'd be doing me a huge solid, man. If you still haven't, it takes 1 minute to go ahead and download. The game is free, it has no ads, and it's very fun. I'm on level like 260 now, and I cannot stop playing, man. Thanks to everyone that helps me. So here we go in week number 3. Gonna advance to the Super Bowl and see who would win if the teams remain like this for the rest of the season. We have the 1-seed Steelers taking on the 2-seed Cowboys. Burrow helps Pittsburgh get back to the Super Bowl, and Dallas with that nasty defense. Got past Philly in the NFC Championship game. Miami was right there, 3 points away from a Super Bowl appearance. Falcons ended up with the 1 seed in the NFC. Here's how the playoffs shook up. If you guys want to slow it down, pause, whatever you want to do. No forced wins, of course. Divisional round, we had one blowout, but mostly close games all throughout the playoffs. Most passing yards in the league went to Dak Prescott. Burrow was second. Goff was third in Kansas City. Allen was in the top 10 on the Jets. He had Mahomes. On the Seahawks with a nasty ratio. Had the most touchdowns in the league. Only 4 picks to go along with 39 tutties. Carr, Goff, Prescott, and Burrow round out the top 5. A lot of good seasons from these quarterbacks. Saquon had the most rushing yards in the league. Jacobs, Taylor, McCaffrey, and Pierce rounding out the top 5. Remember the Ravens took him in week 1 from the Texans. Najee with 23 rushing touchdowns to lead everyone. Jacobs, Pollard, Swift, and Eckler in the top 5. And then CD had the most receiving yards. Michael Thomas, Smitty, Michael Gallup, 2 Cowboys in the top 5, Cooper Kupp, and then Thielen. CD also had the most receptions. Him and Thomas, the only guys to have more than 100. Evans did not continue his 1,000-yard streak on the Vikings. Ayuk had the most receiving touchdowns with 16. And here's how the rest of the top 10 stacked up. Jefferson with a 1,000-yard season on the Bucks. As for the defense, Damone Clark, who the Cowboys traded to the Jets, leads the league in tackles as a big FU. 28.5 sacks for Micah Parsons, though, obliterating the record. No question he won DPOI. Donald and Vaughn, along with Ogba and Chandler Jones in the top 5. Buckner had 30 tackles for a loss to lead everyone. And AJ Terrell rewarded the Falcons for not trading him by leading the league in interceptions. He had 7. Meanwhile, his teammate Okuda was in the top 5 with 5 INTs. Cross, Samuel, and Lattimore also in the top 5. Dak Prescott wins MVP, but look at who's in the top 10. Micah freaking Parsons. I really like that, man. They let defensive players at least get a chance. Burrow was second on the Steelers. Lamar ends up third. OPOY goes to Jacobs in the AFC. Maybe the Bills regret not taking him, but it was a very tough decision. Probably the toughest one of the video. And then DPOY went to the Bills. Von Miller in the NFC. Parsons wins DPOY. And Prescott wins OPOY. We begin with the Cowboys on offense. Gonna watch one drive from each of these teams. Dak on his first drop back, getting pressured by Cameron Hayward, but he found his running back Pollard, who gets a nice gain. Hayward balling for the Steelers. I mean, it just wouldn't feel right to trade him away. He's been a Pittsburgh guy through and through. Holcomb with a nice tackle. Speaking of Steelers linebackers, though, Alex Highsmith, very underrated. I'll be shocked if he doesn't get a nice boost to his ratings. In week number 3, Dak with a nice dot to Gallup on 3rd down. Cowboys are in field goal range. Nice first drive they got going. Play action. Here comes Hayward. He gets the sack.
Wait till you see the...
What? I thought he was trying to help him up. Instead, no, there's no way that's not a flag in real life. Bruh. Clearly unnecessary roughness. Cameron's a little bit too hype. Needs to simmer down. But I get it. He had himself a great first quarter. 3rd and 17. Dak gonna look for his tight end Ferguson, but there's Minka with the nice breakup. Cowboys are gonna attempt a field goal. Aubrey does have a leg. This is only, what, a 55-yarder. He should be able to make this, but it's wide right. They end up missing it. So now Burrow takes over in great field position. It's still a tied game. He's gonna start with a laser to Fryer move. Now, I do expect his overall to probably drop in week 3, but he still has X factor, and when healthy, he's still one of the best in the league. Not to mention the Bengals did get off to a rough start last year. They were 0-2. They end up making the playoffs. This year's a little different because Burrow seems to be more hurt, but if he gets healthy, who knows what could happen. Regardless, he's healthy in this one, and Pittsburgh is now in scoring range, looking to get at least 3. Steelers are inside the 15, looking to get the first points of the game. Najee up the gut with a nice run. He gets the first down. 2-minute warning has been reached. 4-man rush. Burrow escaping the pocket, throwing a laser to Fryer move. Pittsburgh is on top in this one. Here we go. Super simming to the end. If it's close in the 4th quarter, we hop right back in. Start of half number 2. Pittsburgh gets another touchdown. They extend their lead in the 4th quarter. The Cowboys are going to end up losing this one. 24-10. Burrow helps the Steelers get another Super Bowl win. And there you go. See you guys next week for Steal a Player Week 3. Destroy the like button if you guys want the series to keep going. Also, I'd greatly appreciate it if you have not downloaded the link in the description. It takes 2 seconds. It's free. Thank you so much.